Hello, friends. I'm excited today because I have a new coffee. I'm very excited for this new coffee. This coffee is from my favorite coffee shop where I live, so it's gonna be fun. But before that, what are we talking about today? Well, we're navigating this holiday season, and there are sales everywhere, and inevitably there are people, maybe you, who are like, I don't know if it's time for me to hop into this next system. With all these sales, I only have a certain amount of budget. Where should I allocate some of these funds? And so I want to help kind of get through some of these different areas in which we have sales and talk about the real things that we should look at if we're looking for specific items. And honestly, not honestly, but at the end of this, I'm going to give you a little bit of a buyer's guide if you're trying to buy gifts for gamers, console gamers. All you have to know is if they have an Xbox, PlayStation, or Nintendo Switch, and at that point, we can get the proper gift for them. So let's jump in. First, let's talk to the people who are looking to potentially get into a gaming console. So if you are a person looking at the Nintendo Switch, there are a few bundles to hop into right now. There's a Super Smash Brothers bundle. I'm not familiar with all of the different ones, but I would absolutely purchase one of the bundles. And I think there are a couple for the regular LCD Switch, and then there are some for the OLED Switch. I personally think that the OLED Switch is going to have a couple things going for it. One, it's going to be a better gaming experience. You're going to be hopping into a gaming experience that is the right one, the newest one. Also, and this is the big one, it is going to have the best resale value if you are going to be upgrading to whatever the newer Switch is, or the newer Nintendo hardware is going to be once that comes out. Which we're looking to see new Nintendo hardware here in the next year or so. Definitely by next holiday season. And so that's something that you need to keep in the back of your mind. You are indeed going to be purchasing a gaming console, Nintendo gaming console, if you're getting it for the first time, that is going to be replaced here in the next, honestly, I believe it's going to be less than a year from now. I believe it's going to be maybe 6 months. But then the question is, should I still get into Nintendo? And I think, personally, it wouldn't be a bad purchase. Now, if you've saved every penny and you're like, this is like the most I can spend on a console, I have a few $100, Nintendo Switch, I've been eyeballing it for a while, I want to get it, I will not be able to purchase another console for another couple of years. To that person, I would say it's probably not the time to purchase a Nintendo Switch. I'm usually not the biggest fan of waiting and just waiting for the next console and being like, well, I'm not going to buy it until the next one, but we are close enough for it to be a reasonable thing to say that maybe this holiday season isn't the holiday season you finally pull the trigger on the next Nintendo Switch. If you already own a Nintendo Switch, like an LCD, and you're like, I want to get up to the OLED, I wouldn't do that either, because all the OLED offers you is a better handheld experience. Again, if you are someone who needs to upgrade because of hardware failures, or your kids have broken yours, or you've broken yours, we got a new system coming out. But if you're like, nope, I'm buying one, it doesn't matter to me, I would say absolutely get one of the bundles. Through and through. That is the best way to go about it. There are people that like to buy secondhand. I think secondhand's fine. If you find a reputable refurbished console, there's nothing wrong with getting a refurbished one. A lot of times with refurbished consoles, you see that they've been certified. If they come with a warranty of sorts, I would do that. The Nintendo Switch is a tricky one because it is a more fragile, it's durable in a lot of ways. I've dropped mine, but it's also a little bit more fragile with a rail system and stuff like that. So I don't know if I would quickly get into a refurbished one. Now, if we're talking refurbished consoles, Xbox refurbished by Microsoft, or PlayStation, I think the Sony one offers a refurbished model as well. I would easily and very, very quickly go into those ones. No problem. I'm not worried about it whatsoever. So now that we've covered the hardware of Nintendo, let's cover the hardware of the Series X and Series S. So if you're looking to purchase one of those consoles, I have so many videos on this channel about which one to buy. I have videos on why I wouldn't buy the Series S, why I wouldn't buy the Series X, why I switched multiple times. Let me give you my current viewpoints in 2023, holiday season 2023, as I have all three consoles sitting on my desk. My Xbox console receives the least amount of attention. And now, that isn't because there's anything wrong with the Series S or I don't like Microsoft. It's that the games that exist for me on that console are few and far between. I have Game Pass. It is simply a Game Pass machine. That is all it is, because that is where my S is. I haven't ever owned an Xbox before. And so the S for me was my entry level. I've owned an X. I'm like, I'm going to do it. I'm going to go gung-ho. And I realized that the redundancy that exists with owning a PS5 and a Series X is unnecessary for me financially. Now, this is my job in some ways, but still, having both is absurd. It gives me anxiety to think about, where am I going to purchase games? How am I going to purchase games? Am I going to be purchasing them on the X? Am I going to be purchasing them on the PlayStation 5? Like, where am I going to put the game? Now I have split libraries, all of this stuff. And so I decided that the best way to go about this specific situation was to have one true next-gen console, one that is, I guess, mid-gen, which, that's the thing with the S, is it's still next-gen. It's still next-gen. It's just not the top-end next-gen. And I think that, you know, I wish PlayStation would offer something along those lines. They're not going to. But, you know, the digital version now is only $50 less than the full disc version. Well, I'm getting ahead of myself here. Let's back to the X and S. Where would I go? Well, if you are someone, because they're both crazy sales right now, you can get a Series S for like $250. Insane. If I was going to be getting the Series S, I think, and then there's the two models of the Series S. Here's the play. Get the cheapest model and buy expandable storage, like through and through. That's the best way to go about it, because if you buy a 1 terabyte expandable storage that now, I think it's like, you can get one for like $100 and something odd, you get close to the price with the, I'm talking about the cards. I'm not talking about the like just a external drive. I'm talking about the like legit cards. Oop. We'll let that grind real quick. But if you're getting legit Xbox branded Seagate, Western Digital has one now. Yummy. If you get those cards, you're going to have, you know, not just an additional terabyte. That cut was because I heard my daughter coughing a bunch and started crying, but then my wife sat there. Everything's good. Let's make a hole. Let's do this and let us have some fun. So I would do the expandable storage route, because the expandable storage allows you to get not just one extra terabyte, not the like up to a terabyte, but you get 1.5. I don't think you're gonna need all of that room. Well, maybe actually, because games are so large. Come on, swirl, swirl, swirl. There we go. We've swirled. So that's what I would do. Because there's the white one, which is 512, and then there's the black one, which is 1 terabyte. I have the black one, 1 terabyte, but I have no intention of expanding the storage internally, because the storage is fine for me. I am just a Series S, quick, ready to go guy. I'm not buying any games for that sucker. So that's the way that I am going about the Series X. Now, if you're someone like, dude, I'm gonna get into Xbox, I want to get the best experience, dude, get the X. Now, if you're like, I don't know if the X is worth it, I don't know if I should go S, let me sum up every single one of my videos in this next couple of minutes. The S is very good. And when I mean very good, I mean it gets close enough. If you have a, like I do, OLED TV that's 4K, can do 120 frames per second, can actually capitalize on what next gen is offering, you might be disappointed with what you see. If you're close enough, because there is going to be a degradation in image quality. Now, how much degradation? Some people online would say that it is tremendous. It's not. I would say that we're talking about 15 to 20% of a difference if you're comparing them side by side. Now, for some, that's night and day. I'm not going to say that there's no difference. There is a very, very noticeable difference when you have them side by side. But the likelihood of you sitting there and playing a game slow enough to actually see that there's an imperfect, whatever it may be, is very unlikely and unreasonable. And if you are looking to get into gaming and just play an Xbox just to play it, you're going to be fine with the Series S. Really, you really are. Now, if you're someone who, and this is a point I've made before, who is going to be questioning, and like, I don't know if I made the right decision. Is this really actually the best? And you're gonna be sitting there second guessing yourself, even when you're playing the gaming console. That second guessing is going to potentially rob you of a fun gaming experience. I can't speak into that. Can't speak into the FOMO that exists. I've talked about it before, but if FOMO is going to take over your life, maybe the Series S isn't for you. Okay. Now, it does come at half price right now, and it is not half the console, right? It is definitely not half the console. So I would, look into where it's going to be. Now, this also is a very, very, I guess, objective way of saying it, or subject, I don't know. If it is your only console, that's it, that's all you got, X, without a doubt. That's what I would say, honestly, because there's a disk drive, there's multimedia things that go there, you have bigger internal storage, it's a better system, X. If you are a multi-console gamer, I don't think the X is worth it. I think it's redundant, to say the least. Now, let's get into PlayStation 5. PlayStation 5 just got a refresh. You can get the newer console for $450 or whatever for the digital, and then $500 for the digital, plus the new and improved disc drive. Ooh, that was a good brew bed. And we got $300. Yes, $350. It's exactly where we want to be. Oh, I can't wait to drink this. I'm so excited for this. I've already had a cup, by the way. I had a cup last night. I shot a video last night, and I was going to post it for today, and I didn't like it. First one that I didn't like. And the reason why I didn't like it was because I talked about something really personal, and afterwards I'm like, I don't want this personal video to be out there. So I changed it. So back to the PlayStation 5. I personally, if I was like, I need to buy a PS5 right now, I would buy the big boy. I would not buy the slim. The difference between the two is aesthetics and more plastic in the slim. I've seen breakdowns from all the big boys, Linus Tech Tips, Dave 2D, who's the other guy that, Austin Evans, and everyone said the same thing. They're like, oh, it's smaller, and it's a little bit more efficient, and wow, there's a lot more plastic. I am perfectly fine. I have a launch day PlayStation 5. It works perfectly great. It's been vertical this whole time, and I've had no issues. Never overheated once. Never an issue, and it should be cleaned. There's plenty of dust in it. I should be cleaning it, but I haven't. We're fine. I've had it I got it like probably 5 or 6 months after launch in a bundle, because that was when I could finally get it. We're cruising, baby. We're doing just A-okay. Now, with the PlayStation 5, I would honestly go for an older model. Now, they do have the two big models right now that are on sale. You can get Spider-Man 2 if that's a game you want to play, which is a $60 game for the newer model, or you get I think Modern Warfare 3 again if that's a game you want to play, and you're getting that for $500. $500 minus that $60 or $70, which Spider-Man 2 will eventually come, I believe, maybe it won't, to PlayStation Plus and Modern Warfare 3, whatever. So if those games are really interesting, like must-have games for you, yeah, sure, get that, I guess, newer system and save the $60. But honestly, if you can find yourself a cheaper, older system, dude, the big boy, it's just big. And the size difference between the two exists, but not enough for it to be like, holy smokes, this is a Series S form factor, which I love the Series S form factor. All right, let's talk about the other deals that exist. Let me take a first sip. Yes. So good. Oh man. I now know why this grinder is called the Ode, because it's like Ode to Joy. Oh man. That is delicious. That is the Kenya from Rapport Coffee and Roasters here in California. If you want more information about them, let me know. They're my favorite coffee shop. If I ever have my own coffee, it's going to be from them. The other deals. There are 3 types of deals that exist right now. There are game discounts, there's hardware discounts, and then finally there are bundles. I personally believe that the game discounts that exist are through and through the only discounts that I find to be worth freaking out about and trying to get something. Every company under the sun right now is on sale. And there are very specific accessories that might be the right ones for you. I should have planned better and made some of the videos making the right, but I'm not going to because I'm doing these cups right now. Now, I've heard you loud and clear, and these cups are fun to make, and I'm doing them, and I'm going to continue doing them. But I will be sprinkling in back, I don't know how many. I'm thinking it's going to be once a week, just normal produced videos because I miss them. We've done 20, how many? 22? 22 cups as of now. And I miss making some of those produced videos. So we'll be sprinkling those back in December. Not this month, but in December we're going to be bringing those back. And I'm hoping, and we're going to see how I can hold on to it. On Mondays, this is something I can do. I've planned it now. On Mondays, it's going to be a live cup, always. So it's going to be at 10 a.m. And it's not 10 a.m. Somewhere between 9 and 10. I'm going to lock that in eventually. Monday, the cup will be live, and then the rest of the week will be normal cups, and then eventually it's going to be, one normal video, which will happen probably at the end of the week. So Mondays will be a live cup, and then some cups in between the week, and then Fridays will be the produced video. I'm pretty sure that that's how it's going to be, starting in December. Also, December launches the Cartridge Society, which is really exciting. Back to these deals. So the deals that I would look for are gaming deals. GameStop has a ton. Nintendo Switch deals, PlayStation deals, Xbox deals, insane ones. GameStop has a ton if you're going physical. If you're going digital, Nintendo right now has a great amount of deals. PlayStation has a great amount of deals, and Xbox does. Now, I want to be abundantly clear that if your budget for spending on electronics and gaming is set, do not be fooled by some of the deals and exclusive offers that exist. I've been doing this now for 3 years. I've seen, oh my gosh, I can't believe I can get this for $70 versus $100. A couple things to understand. If you're buying in bulk and buying in quantity, then maybe that might translate to something very, very big down the line. But if you're looking at a game, like let's just say it's a normal $70 game, you're like, holy smokes, I can get it for $55. That's $15. Okay, $15 seems like a good amount, a good deal, especially for a game, sure. But what I would suggest when looking at purchasing games for this Black Friday, for the Thanksgiving holiday, into next year's season, is look at the grand scale, make a list of everything you would like to get. Then price that out and then see where the savings lie. Because you'll realize that right now, DualSense controllers, standard DualSense controllers are as low as $50. That is up to $20 off of specific colors, or maybe it's $15 off of specific colors. That sounds like a great deal, right? And I'm not saying that it's not a great deal. It might be. That very same deal was available 3 months ago. These deals and these crazy, it's not as much as you think in the video game space. Some of the digital game deals that exist right now are pretty great, and I'm gonna say that that is something to look into. But it's really important to go into these purchasing seasons because they're gonna try to get you to spend money. That's what they do. At Black Friday, the reason why it's called Black Friday, some of you know this, so if you already know this, great, awesome. Black Friday is because when you are running a company, you have what I believe is the term. Well, the term is to be in the black. So being in the red means you're upside down. You're losing money. In the black, I believe, is stable. Maybe it's profiting. But Black Friday was, let's just say it's stable. It doesn't matter because the term still makes sense. Black Friday was a time towards the end of the year because budgets and the rest, trying to get rid of as much as you can to potentially exit the season in the black. So they would call it Black Friday. And so you see these insane deals on these gear where it's almost down to some of the, wholesale costs. Maybe it is, maybe it's just above wholesale costs to offload product, to sell, to get rid of, and to make way for newer product. Now we have releases that aren't, annually, the calendar year. They're happening all year long, but this is the time where all these deals happen and people spend an exorbitant amount of money to get the deal, and when in reality, the deal isn't as sweet as we are led to believe. Amazon has now had to post the original price of things, and then also if you have Honey, which I should reach out to them and be like, hey, you want to sponsor a video like this? But if you have Honey, it'll tell you what the past 30 days of the price changes will be, and you'll see that sometimes you're looking at this price change, like I'm keeping an eye on my different manga sets. Dude, they've changed. It's like, oh, exclusive. They've dropped like $4. $4 from a price that was already there, right? Now the One Piece one hasn't. The One Piece is still extremely expensive. I have it, but the pricing isn't as crazy as you would think. So when you enter into this video game season, purchasing games, console, all that stuff, there are very, very specific things that I would try to do to try to mitigate being conned by some of these different deals, so to speak. Thing number one is to set a list of 5, 10, 20 games that you want. Write those down. Next is to some accessories that you may need. Not necessarily want, but need. And really, honestly, when it comes down to accessories, some of the big boys, the big box places, they don't really have the sales you want. They don't need to, especially now in this tech shortage kind of thing. Like, people aren't needing to make sales like they used to. And so we're not seeing as much as we did, but at any rate, look for sales. And anything that is more than 20% off, that's when you start to bat an eyelash. If it's less than 20% off, unless it's one of those companies that's always on sale, which send me an email like, hey, would you like to promote our new sale on our new product? I'm like, dude, your name of your company was just a different name last freaking week when you texted me or sent me an email saying cover this product. So I don't review really, really cheap products on this channel. You can look at other channels for that. I'm not going to do this, silly ones. At any rate, look for 20% or more. 10% doesn't really change much unless we're in the upwards of hundreds of dollars, right? If you're looking for a Series S and it's 10%, it's $30. Looking for a Series X and it's 10%, it's $50, right? We're starting to get into that realm. But if you're looking at a game and you're like, oh my gosh, it's 10% off. No, it's like, what, $6 off? It's like not even a cup of coffee at a fancy coffee shop, right? I know, isn't that crazy? This cup right here I'm drinking is $8. When you get a pour over at my coffee shop, I mean, I'll spend it. It's the most expensive coffee that I can buy out here. The bag of coffee isn't though. The bag of coffee was only $22, but $8 for a pour over. I'm not mad about it. I'm not mad at all. I love it. I'll spend it every single time. I love the dudes that own it. They're just the coolest people. Fun little tangent. When my wife was pregnant, and also we were all locked up in our homes, they literally from 35-minute drive away drove to my house to deliver coffee beans. Because I'm like, hey man, I'll come and pick it up sometime. It's hard for me to get out there. They're like, don't worry about it. We'll drop them off at your front door. They literally dropped them off at my front door. These dudes are the best dudes in the world. Shout out to Rapport Coffee and Roasters in San Clemente. I love them. I love them so much. Anyway, make a list, guys. Don't be fooled by these sales. And so let's talk about what I said at the beginning, which was, what did I say at the beginning? Let me take a sip of coffee and think about it. Oh, if you want to buy gifts for gamers. I got this idea from James Hoffman, who was making coffee videos and goes, I'm not going to make a video of what you should buy. I'm going to make a video of what you should buy for coffee nerds and what you shouldn't. Here's what you should buy for your gamer friends that, you want to think of something thoughtful. If you know the game that they want, do that. If you know exactly, but it's hard because it's tough to see if they are going to purchase it with one of these sales. And let me be the first to tell you that cases for the Nintendo Switch and third-party things for the Nintendo Switch, unless you know by name, is not the best thing to purchase. Honestly, if I'm being straight with you, eShop gift cards is a great one. I would say Amazon Amazon stuff is good too. But as I move forward more and more with doing this, I'm going to be probably one of the only people to do this, and Might not be the best decision, but I'm going to do it anyway. Try to purchase from the companies, if I'm being honest with you. Sure, you can find deals on Amazon, better deals on Amazon. And I'm not saying that I'm never purchasing on Amazon, but when you can, it might be better to purchase from these companies. Now, full disclosure, some of these companies have full-blown Amazon stores, and that's its own thing. 8-Bit Dough, for instance, if you want to purchase something from them, they do distribute through Amazon. Nothing wrong with that. But I'm someone who realizes, or I'm realizing more and more, that there just is a difference. And supporting companies, you know, the tech world is real weird and real interesting the way that it all works out. And I feel like it'd be cool if we could start to do stuff like that, right? I'm a huge fan of 8-Bit Dough, but 8-Bit Dough runs through Amazon, whatever, it's fine. I'm a huge fan of TomTalk. Again, they run through Amazon, no big deal. These are companies that, you know, do stuff, but if you can buy direct from companies, that'd be great. Now back to the gift guide. Gift guide, eShop money, in currency for the system to purchase games is a really good gift idea. What you should absolutely try to avoid is accessories that you think are cool, unless you've heard them spoken by the person themselves. Do not buy Joy-Con replacements for your gamer friends who have Nintendo Switches that are third party. If you're gonna buy your gamer friends Joy-Cons, buy them Nintendo Joy-Cons. If you're gonna buy them a controller, buy them a controller, a Nintendo Switch Pro controller or something like that. Or purchase them something that they've explicitly stated. But if they haven't and you don't know, it's not something that, you know, you're giving them a task. I can tell you from the plethora of controllers I've used, Nintendo Switch third-party controllers, most of them are hot garbage. Most of them. With the exception of 8-Bit Dough, PowerA, and Hori, some of the big players, I would consider 8-Bit Dough to be the best, of which I'm a huge fan of. You guys know this. Dude, some of these are just hot garbage. They're just gonna be a pain in the butt. You're giving your buddy a chore. So stay away from those. For Xbox and PlayStation, first-party controllers, we love them. It's great. It's always good to have an extra controller. In-game or like the store, that currency, purchase that. They can purchase the game for themselves. And then if you want to get a gift card, gift card for themselves, that's the way to go. And then gaming wise, I would always suggest that unless you know explicitly what game they want, stay away from that purchase. Because that's just a tough one. It's like buying someone a book. Like, do you know if they're gonna like that book? Maybe it might be your favorite book and you want to share that with them. That's your own thing, but stay away from that. I hope this helps navigate through this, these sales. The biggest thing I want to drive home is the sales aren't that different than what you can get any other time of the year. Honestly. The biggest thing is they're all happening at once. That truly is what it is. All the sales are happening at once. And so you're like, I can save so much money. But the real question is, can you afford to save that much money? My dad jokes about Costco all the time. He goes, it's tough for me to shop at Costco. I just can't afford to save that much money. You show up and you're like, yeah, dude, I'm saving $50 on all these things, but you still end up spending $900. Yeah, you saved $1,000, but did you have $900 to go in there to spend in the first place? That's something really to take into consideration as we're exiting the life cycle of one console, Nintendo Switch, and entering into, maybe new consoles in the future. It's just be very, very mindful of how you spend your money when it comes to these consoles, because some of them are refreshing soon. I don't think that you're gonna need to worry about Xbox and PlayStation at all. So now's the time to purchase games there. But Nintendo, maybe take a back seat a little bit. And that's coming from a person who's a huge fan of Nintendo. And I am spending some time looking through some of the sales to get games that I haven't had, maybe for a collection. I want Toad Treasure Tracker, and I'm trying to pick up some of these first party games that I want to play more of. So I hope that helps. I know for me, this time of year is always a tough one. I try to stay off of all of the sales because I don't wait for sales to purchase stuff usually. I try to purchase stuff, responsibly, but if I need something, I just buy it. Like, I purchased this grinder and it's on sale now. I would have saved $20. I think I'll be okay. All right, guys. Well, as always, finish my cup, so happy gaming.